Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is very cold at the moment with a very strong northerly wind pushing in with plenty of heavy showers, especially in the north and west. And over the next few nights we could be seeing quite a widespread frost in northern rural areas and even in towns and cities, even towards southern England, towards London. Could be mid to low single digits. As I said, very cold for mid-September. Now, fortunately, as we head into next week, we are going to be seeing a warm-up. Now, we're not going to see anything amazing next week. Temperatures will likely be average to maybe slightly above average, as we do see a big area of high pressure extending from the Azores, but it will be a massive contrast to this week, and I think a lot of people will be looking at it like summer is returning, even though temperatures probably will only just about nudge above 20 degrees. But it does look a lot better next week. Very minimal precipitation and those warming temperatures. Still a bit of deviation between some of the runs with the exact temperatures, but a lot warmer than this week. That's what we can say for certain. So do remember, if you enjoy videos, which do like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, recording this quite late in the evening, around 11 p.m, you can see showers are getting cut out a little bit at the moment. They're still pushing in quite swiftly on that northwesterly breeze. Still plenty of showers up towards the northwest of England, towards Liverpool. Few into North Wales, Northern Ireland and Northern and Western Scotland. They were a lot more widespread earlier through the afternoon, but of course with that sun setting it does take a little bit of energy out of the atmosphere and does prevent convection taking off over land. So that's why these are more exclusively towards the oceans and the seas, because we are getting a bit more energy coming in off the ocean surfaces. So still got showers around in places, but where we do avoid those and we see some clearer skies, temperatures falling away quite substantially tonight. Now, to put on those temperatures, you can see lots of blues appearing, something we've not seen in many months. Yes, we've had some cold nights in the last few weeks and the last few months, but nowhere near as cold as this. I said most likely the coldest night since May. Temperatures widely down towards the mid to high single digits, and especially in rural areas down towards the lower single digits, touching freezing. And it's just become more widespread and colder over the next couple of days, and I wouldn't be surprised by Friday, many areas, especially if you're out of the towns and cities, seeing perhaps a bit of frost and a bit of ice when you wake up in the morning. But at the moment, for Thursday morning, most likely really only the higher ground of Scotland, Northern England and maybe Wales, perhaps, as I said, more widespread through Friday morning, where we do see this persist, and maybe even into Saturday in the south and the east. Now, if you look at the latest UKV now, you can see as we head through the rest of tonight into Thursday, we still see those showers, and they do push inland a little bit more through Thursday afternoon, but nowhere near as heavy and as widespread as they were through Wednesday. Another sunny day though, where you avoid the showers, but it's going to be blustery, and it is going to feel very cold. The feel like temperature does knock a good few degrees off those surface temperatures. So yes, it's about 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees below average at the surface, and on the feel like temperature, we're more like 10 to 12 degrees below average. As we head into Friday morning, we do see the high pressure system topple, so we will lose that stronger wind, which means through Friday it might not feel as cold with that wind chill through the day, but it does mean the morning with still air and clear skies, we could be waking up, as I said, to a harsher frost in places. As we progress through Friday, see the wind direction starting to shift to a westerly. It'll still be a cold day, but it does mean that eventually milder air is pushing in off the Atlantic. And you see as we head into Saturday, it becomes more widespread. And for all through Saturday into Sunday, we're into milder air. We do see weather fronts struggling to push in, as we do see a bit of a battle, a tug of war between high pressure, low pressure, but it does change the air masses, which means that regardless of whether you see a bit of rain, a bit of cloud or sunshine, it will be warmer. And you can see as we head into the early part of next week, we still see a lot of heavy rain in the north, again battling between that low pressure, high pressure, but a lot of the longer range runs, pretty much all of them, do go for that higher pressure, especially for Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. So yes, a bit of rain here for Monday, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this disappear or push much further northwards. Again, it's something to decipher over the weekend. But yeah, next week looking a lot better, and you can see from those upper air temperatures a lot warmer as well. Look at that, up into the low to mid-teens. We'd be looking at temperatures into the low 20s perhaps during next week. Huge contrast to what we've got at the moment, where we're seeing it down to -3, -4 or -5 for parts of Scotland. So perhaps even a 15 to 20 degree temperature swing in only the next sort of 3, 4 or 5 days. Pretty ridiculous indeed. Of course, it was very warm last week, so it's going from very warm to very cold to warm and maybe potentially warm again very warm next week. If you look at the max temperatures overnight into Thursday morning, we're widely mid to high single digits, and you can see for most areas, especially in cities and towns, 7 or 8 degrees, 6, 7, 8 degrees. Towards rural areas further northwards, more like 3 or 4, potentially down towards freezing 1 or 2 in some other regions. Into the afternoon, hardly touching 13 or 14 degrees. Most areas just struggling into the double digits or even single digits. And then as we head into Friday, it turns very cold indeed overnight. As you can look at sort of 6 a.m, that's kind of the peak of the cold. We're looking at temperatures widely 3 to 6 degrees, maybe slightly milder further eastwards across East Anglia, but only here 8 or 9. But many inland areas 3, 4 degrees, and potentially more lighter blues appearing there, which does indicate the risk of frost. So yes, could be a very cold morning on Friday. As we head into the afternoon, it again will be chilly, but with that wind direction changing, it will start to turn milder. You can see that 15, 16 degrees looking possible there in the south and the east. And then as we head into the weekend, you'll be able to see it turns a lot milder. Yes, still cold in the south and the east through Saturday morning, but by the afternoon, look at that, more widely 17, 18 degrees. And for Sunday, could even touch 20 once again. And the same could be said for Monday, as we start to see those milder air masses moving back in. So starting to see summer temperatures again next week. Yes, it's not high 20s, mid 20s, anything spectacular, but it's a lot warmer, potentially even getting back the t-shirt and shorts out if we do see some strong sunshine next week. Huge contrast, as I said, to what we have at the moment. Now, if you go over to the GFS, this is the latest midday run. You can see northerly winds coming in at the moment, eventually topples with higher pressure building in. We have got a bit of an easterly flow, so again, uncertainty about exactly how warm that air mass will be. Here it's actually reasonably warm, but eventually towards the longer range, we actually lose that warmth. We could see more cooler insertions there in from the north. But at least for the medium to longer range, bar from the last few days, it's higher pressure and above average air masses. You can see this from the temperature deviation. Lots more yellows appearing, so looking a lot more pleasant. And yeah, just looking really quite nice indeed. Now, if you look at the latest GM to compare, again, very strong northerly winds coming in. Eventually, high pressure toppling in for next week, very similar to the GFS. Easterly winds, very warm indeed, and yeah, just looking pretty pleasant. Again, with that easterly flow, it may hold those temperatures down in the far east, but look at that, inland 20 to 22 degrees, really pleasant indeed. Can't ask for much more than that towards late September. Massive contrast this week. You couldn't believe that it could get back into the low 20s after what we're seeing at the moment. It does feel like winter, or autumn at least, has properly arrived, but we are going to be seeing something a little bit more summery next week. So don't put those t-shirt and shorts, as I said, away too quickly, and don't get the hat and gloves out permanently, because you'll probably have to put them away next week with these sort of temperatures. The only thing I would watch out for is what happens to this high pressure. Right at day 10, it moves towards Greenland. This is an extraordinary chart, one which we'd probably be raving about during winter, because this could be the start of major northern blocking and potentially major cold spells. However, we are only in September, so it's not going to cause anything massive at all. But you can see cold areas flooding out of the Arctic towards Scandinavia. Again, that will be very interesting watch if that does happen. You can see from the temperature deviation, this cold pool is exiting with that very warm air up towards Greenland, and a similar cold pool down towards the west coast of America. Again, it's not massively cold, but you can kind of see what that high pressure is trying to do. And I said, if that was 2-3 months' time, we would be looking at something incredibly cold indeed. We'll have to wait and see, but very interesting nonetheless. If we do have a look finally at the latest ECMWF, again, broadly very similar, that north wind getting cut off, high pressure building in for next week, and it looks stunning. Even better than the other runs, high pressure sat right over the top of us with a warm upper air temperature. And if we do zoom in to the surface temperatures, again, we're looking at widely mid to high teens. Maybe not as warm because the upper air temperatures are slightly lower, but that's probably something we just have to deal with that high pressure right over the top of us. We are, now into autumn, so homegrown heat does become harder and harder. So without those above average upper air temperatures, it will become increasingly difficult to see those temperatures into the sort of low to mid 20s. But even here, wouldn't be surprised to see a few areas 21, 22 come 2 or 3 p.m. So yeah, all 3 runs today looking fine indeed for next week. And you can see it's backed up by the ensembles. Very cold at the moment for the next sort of 2 or 3 days. And then going much milder next week. We really, from the ensembles, only average to above average by maybe a couple of degrees, but looking very consistent between all ensemble members. And very low precipitation for much of next week. As we head towards the day 12, day 14 period, again, temperatures are pretty consistent, around average. A few rogue runs, like the operational one there, that brought in northerly winds, and precipitation picks up a little bit, but really looking still pretty decent indeed. So got no complaints in the longer term, if we're being completely honest. And the same can be said for the ECMWF. Much warmer next week, more around the 4 or 5 degrees above average, and minimal precipitation at all. So again, looking very stunning indeed. We'll have to wait to see exactly what those surface temperatures will be, but from the looks of this, wouldn't be surprised if we saw widespread high teens and low 20s by sort of Tuesday, Wednesday next week. But yeah, it looks really quite nice indeed. Just a shame that we're seeing a real cold snap at the moment. So lots of complaints today, lots of people talking about how cold it has been and is. Especially with that wind chill. But yeah, I think everyone will forget about it come next week when the sun is beating again and we can see those temperatures are much, much warmer. As I said, though, I'll keep you updated with those exact surface temperatures, especially through the weekend as we do get the UKV in its time frame. And yeah, we'll give you a good look at what those temperatures will be next week. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.